To think things through. I don't know what's in, I can do it wrong and wrong's wrong with you. Yes, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Spark FM online, number one for urban and Caribbean music. We are in the building. We are here today. Rockstone Triz, Miss Tony Be Knowing, and me, Hot Sauce. How y'all doing?
Up and around the vicinity. Up and around the vicinity.
Up and around the vicinity.
We here.
Today
we inside.
is Big Bad Tuesday. It is Tuesday. It is Taco Tuesday. It is Big Bad Tuesday.
Oh.
I mean, Big Back could work too.
No, that's
Because
that's
if you eat a
discriminatory.
lot, if you go to sit down and have tons of tacos, that is Big Back behavior.
I wonder how many people actually do Taco Tuesday. Is that
A
regional?
lot of people do. No.
Like down in California,
I'm
Texas.
sure that's a
do
big
they,
thing.
You know, I like a Taco Tuesday.
I feel
Let's
like
go.
it's a
National.
low key helpful day.
Mhm.
Like on a Tuesday, you know that when you're thinking about what do I need to cook today or what should I eat, it's like it's Taco Tuesday. So it's a good one for you.
Yeah, but like, because remember, Wednesdays used to be Prince Spaghetti Day when they had the commercial where the woman used to open the door and she used to say Anthony, and he used to come running because it was Prince Spaghetti Day.
That's
on
good
Wednesdays.
marketing.
I want that back. I love a Prince Spaghetti.
Yeah.
It's programming. You don't got to think about what you got to cook. It's what we gonna eat it Tuesday tacos.
And then what do you eat on Thursday?
Thirsty Thursdays.
Drink.
Yes, you drink on Thursday. You don't
I
eat.
like
You
that.
don't eat.
Good morning, Jonathan. Yesterday was Monday, June 22nd. Tomorrow will be Hump Day, Wednesday, June 24th. And today is Happy Taco Tuesdays. He's here, guys and girls. Hello, Jonathan. Good morning.
Jonathan, in California, where you are, is Taco Tuesdays a big thing?
Yeah.
Like,
I
are
know.
people really into the Taco Tuesday fod?
I think it's taco every day over there.
Yeah.
It's
I would
very,
assume so.
and then you know where else is pretty taco-y? Chicago.
Really?
Yeah, they're heavy on the Mexican food and the Spanish foods in Chicago. Like tacos is their national pastime in Chicago.
I would like to go to Chicago soon.
I just learned that Chicago used to be the central place for meat, for cows and beef.
Really?
Really?
Because you gotta think about it. You buy like the
That would be like Idaho
Me too.
or Nebraska.
why they said
Wisconsin.
Chicago used to be where they cut all the meat up.
Oh,
They cut all the meat up there because of the Mississippi River right there. So back in the day, used to ship all
The
the
Mississippi River in Chicago.
Yeah, the Chicago, the Mississippi,
Mississippi
River
down
go
there.
all the way up.
Oh.
It started to go all the way through the country.
You sure?
Mississippi River go all the way through the country, man.
Does
That's
the
why the
so.
Midwest is the Midwest, and that's why everybody moved there because it had a river that went all the way up the country, started to trade from the south to the north, from the north to the south.
I learned something new
While the
every
Mississippi
day.
River does not flow
Oh.
directly through Chicago, the city's waterways connect to its basin.
Yes.
It says, yes, the Mississippi River goes entirely through the United States,
Yes,
running
it
from
does.
its source of Lake Itasca in
Mhm.
North Minnesota, south
And
to
it
the
ends
Gulf
in
of
New Orleans.
Mexico. The
Oh,
river
Gulf of
travels approximately 2,340 miles through the heart of the country and either directly borders or flows through 10 U.S. states: Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Louisiana has the mouth of it. In addition to these states, its massive watershed captures water from all parts of 31 U.S. states and 2 Canadian provinces, covering about 40% of the continental United States. I never ever knew that.
What did y'all talk about?
I don't know nothing about geography. I
don't
don't
know
even
that
know where
either.
nothing is.
That's why
But still,
people
I
don't
don't. I not to be
Contrarian.
contrarian, but I still don't think I don't because I feel like when I think of Chicago, I think of Chicago being more like an urban area. I know that
Wow.
there's
So you
suburban
mean like
areas around it.
Illinois, but you're saying
No, well,
it goes
Chicago
through
is a
Illinois.
city.
Yeah.
But like I know that there's like all the other parts of Illinois that would be more rural, so more so for meat production and things like that.
It
But
says Chicago's legendary meat legacy stems from the history as the world's meat packing capital. today the city honors this hog butcher for the world. It has a top tier steakhouses specializing in butcher shops.
Yeah.
And so Chicago was a meat place and the automotive place back in the day. That was like industrial. That's the industrial time. That's a long time ago.
There's a long time. Well, this is very, I mean, like maybe I did know it at some point. It was a suppressed memory, but now I'm here. Hello, guys and girls at the background. I love you guys and girls at the background too. All right, everyone. Thank you for saying hello to me and have a good one. Take care. You too, brother. You too.
No, that's such a feel good moment.
Oh, he said today is Amazon Prime Day. It's until Fun Friday. Good to know. What do you
and Walmart is doing it too.
What you be getting? Oh, does Walmart got all the clothes for sale? Because Walmart.
I just started following a group called Walmart Finds and More.
I don't think you should be in that.
Together little outfits.
I don't think you should be in that.
I got a whole outfit from Walmart the other day for $20.
Leave that
group whole dress
and save some money.
Leave that group. I went to TJ Maxx yesterday with the intention of, buying one little 2-piece of thing, and I walked out there with $100 worth of stuff.
Dang!
And let me tell you, almost $50 to $70 of that is going right back. I didn't want to try no clothes on, so I just bought them all and was like, I'll bring them back tomorrow. Because let me tell you, I ain't got no time to be taking out my clothing in a store. And it's cold today.
Yeah, I don't try stores on in clothes. Women do that. Y'all do that.
Huh?
The women's try clothes on. Men's don't.
I do not try clothes on.
Yeah, I don't try none clothes on.
I don't try clothes on. I don't have time for that. I take it home, and then if it don't fit, then I'll return it. But I'm not.
Me too.
I'm not trying it on.
I don't even return stuff. If it don't fit, it's just gonna
return dando. Okay, so let's get into the show because we do got a lot of grounds to cover today. We have our usual around the way news, and then we'll be Super Tuesdaying with former district attorney Rachel Rollins. I think this might be one of her first black ass interviews with the community for a little while. She's been all over the place, and she's stopping by here to talk to you guys in particular about her running this race again. So we want you guys to tune in, share with a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend, because we outside with it. We outside with it. With that said, let's get directly. How y'all doing? Y'all good?
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into the show. Spark FM.
Listening to Saucy and Friends in the morning with Miss Hot Sauce, Miss Tony, and Rockstone Tues. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Boston, New England, let the sunlight in. Saucy and Friends in the morning. We're ready to begin. Yeah, find us at sparkfmonline.com. Saucy and Friends in the morning. Yeah, we got it going on.
That's right. We got it going.
We got it going on. I feel like that's a real song somewhere because the way that I be singing it is very, crazy.
Yeah.
It's
catchy.
It is very catchy. With that said, Miss Tony.
Yeah.
What it do? Let's get into today is June 23rd. It is 9:41 in the a.m. It is currently 66 degrees. We'll reach a high of 71 and a low of 64. And it looks like it's going to be pretty rainy today. Yikes.
All the day long.
Very rainy. Today, I'm also at the Lawn on D down there in South Boston. And we will be watching the FIFA World Cup game between England and Ghana today. That kicks off, I think the game starts at 4, but the fun and activities kicks off around 1:30. So make sure that you guys are there to bask in the fun of sports and competition at the FIFA World Cup games. Basket. I know. Well, we'll see.
We're gonna be soaking.
We're gonna keep our eyes on the weather and any changes. I'll be sure to let you guys know.
I'm sure they have places that are.
They have cabanas. They also have there's covered seats with big umbrellas and things like that. And then they have the little pavilion as well down there. So you'll be covered. You'll be covered.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. So let's get into the news around the way news. What is going on in and around the areas that you live in? Mass fraud in Massachusetts committed by immigrants discovered. Now this sounds really crazy. 11 people unlawfully in the U.S. among 15 charged in a $1.4 million Massachusetts benefits fraud.
The Trump
case.
people been having a time with this.
They are having a time.
Because you know they hate Massachusetts
Oh, they
anyway.
hate us.
So what are they saying here happened? It says federal authorities say 15 people have been charged in Massachusetts with a public benefits fraud crackdown involving more than 1.4 million in alleged losses. The defendants are accused of fraud tied to programs including SNAP, Mass Health, Social Security, Disability, Housing Assistance, and Unemployment Benefits, according to the U.S. Department of Justice.
Here goes the clip.
Illegal immigration carries real and substantial costs to American taxpayers and places enormous strain on our public benefits systems. And the further we look, the more fraud we find. Under the leadership of President Trump, Vice President Vance, Acting Attorney General Blanche, and the White House Anti-Fraud Task Force, the Department of Justice, and our fraud-fighting partners are aggressively pursuing fraud.
Partners.
No matter how small, even $4,000, no matter how big, and no matter how hard. We will follow the facts and the law to bring criminal actors to justice, regardless of the perpetrator's citizenship, immigration status, position, or title. We will not shrug our shoulders at fraud or acquiesce to it as a necessary evil or an unavoidable destiny. We are resolved to do everything possible to battle back against fraud and protect the programs that benefit the American taxpayers.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks to our great partners, many of whom on the stage with me today, we are off to a good start. In less than 2 months following creation of the National Fraud Enforcement Division.
Turn this off. I need, because let me tell you what bothers me so much, that I can sit here and listen to these people talk about how fraud is so bad and corruption is so bad and nobody's above the law and nobody should be able to do it, from the lowest of the low to the highest of the high to the mids of the mids. But then y'all sitting there and y'all all sit there and watch Donald Trump and his family do all this corruption, fraud, and scamming, and y'all don't got nothing to say but Biden.
Scammer them day, yeah.
But Biden.
Biden. Second of all, who is he?
Exactly. We want to hear from
Foley. Standing there looking all coy and whatever. Anyhow, video shows that a court approves the ballot questions that would eliminate Massachusetts party primaries. Now, what is that?
Party? So
like
the parties choose.
If the Democrats are going up against a Democrat, which one of the Democrats are we choosing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So that's
why
a
are we
short
doing
video.
this?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's look at it.
Why would we do that?
All right, here we go. I think that's so they choose the running. Who's running in the party? Who's going to be their
So
main?
somebody else
why
gets to
choose
choose
this, but ranked choice isn't something that we're really considering. I don't.
You'll see now.
Yeah.
Cleared the way today for a ballot question that could change our elections. So today, the Supreme Judicial Court approved a question that, if it passes, would eliminate political party primaries for state elections. So all candidates running for an office would be on the same primary ballot, and the top two candidates would move on to the general election no matter what their party is. WBZ political analyst John Keller broke down why this question is going before the voters.
Yeah.
There's good intentions behind this ballot question. They're motivated by real concerns about low and generally declining turnouts, a lack of trust in our democracy, lack of participation. But does this ballot question address and effectively answer or fix those questions and problems? Far from clear.
Now, we should point out that some Massachusetts cities, including...
What?
Yeah, what it say?
What did it say? So they're going to be on the same ballot instead of a different ballot,
Regardless of who you with, it's going to be all together. I don't like it.
Oh. So my ballot would have both the Republicans and the Democrats on the same ballot? No, if you're a Democrat, you only get the two Democratic candidates.
Really?
Yeah, if you're a Republican, you only get the two Republican candidates, but you never voting for the other people.
Oh,
Yeah.
I never noticed that.
Because if you think about it, I don't want them telling me which one of the candidates I should choose.
Yeah.
You can't tell me who I want to represent me.
So yeah. Why wasn't it like that before, that we could choose either one? That's not fair, because what if I'm a Democrat, but I identify more with the values of the Republican?
Then why
person?
aren't you voting Republican?
Yeah, but you're saying I wouldn't have the choice before.
No, you would have to make the choice before you get the ballot that you are voting Republican because they align with you. So that's saying, like, if Joe Biden and Barack Obama was there, do you want the Republicans getting to decide which one, Joe Biden or Barack Obama, gets to move forward?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, so that's the same thing. So now they're saying that they're going to put everybody on the same ballot so that you get to pick. I don't know what they're saying.
Right.
Also, we get to choose both sides.
I don't know what they're saying, because the way that it is now is the way that I think it should be. If I'm voting Republican, I decide who I want to push forward for my Republican candidates. If I'm voting Democrat, I decide who I want to push forward for my Democratic Republicans. I shouldn't get to decide who the Republicans get to push forward.
I would just choose the worst man for the Republicans.
Me too. I would choose the worst.
Right, and that's what would happen.
But they would do the same thing for us. So it's better to keep them separated completely, so that I get to choose who I want, and y'all get to choose who y'all want, and then we put both of them up against each other in the long term. And you pick your dude, I pick my dude, and whoever finished picking, that's who we battle it out. But you ain't gonna tell me who I get to pick. But I don't think that's what that said. But let's move on.
We're gonna do some more research.
I don't know what that is. Scream shatter New Hampshire neighborhood as a Massachusetts teen found shot to death.
Oh, Jesus.
Shot to death. And what was this? Police rushed to an Orchard Terrace home in Salem, New Hampshire on Friday, June 19, 2026, after a 911 call alerted them to a teenage boy found dead outside the residence. Upon arrival at the scene, responding officers discovered the boy suffering from a gunshot wound. The victim was later identified as 15-year-old Wachi Saxene of Massachusetts.
Yes.
A spokesperson for Lowell Public Schools confirmed that Saxene was a freshman at Lowell High School. Following an autopsy, medical examiners determined that the teen died from a single gunshot wound to the chest, and his matter of death was officially ruled a homicide.
Here goes the clip right here. Wow.
Breaking news today, the body of a teenage boy was found outside a home in Salem, New Hampshire this morning. That's prompted a homicide investigation. NBC 10's Eli Rosenberg joins us from Salem with those new details just coming in on this case. Eli?
Yeah, we did just get an update from the Attorney General's office. The victim in all of this, 15 years old, according to the AG's office. The manner of death, shot in the chest, the AG's office tells us. And all of this is being investigated as a homicide. Now, all these hours later, as you can see behind us, investigators still on the scene here. This afternoon, we've been talking with neighbors, trying to figure out how something like this could happen here. For those who live on Orchard Terrace in Salem, New Hampshire, it was the screams that woke them up early Friday morning.
The sound was deafening. Hearing a mother, she started screaming, "My son, my son."
According to the Attorney General's office, Salem, New Hampshire police rushed to a house, arriving to find the body of a teenager in the front of the home. Friday evening, the AG's office identifying the victim as 15-year-old Wachi Saxene from Massachusetts. The AG adding, the teen's cause of death was a single gunshot wound to the chest. The manner of death ruled a homicide.
I'm so upset because if it's the child that I think it was, and I don't know what happened to him, he was such a good kid, and it's sad. I'm gonna lose him. I don't know what happened to him.
Throughout the day, detectives and crime scene investigators scoured the house at the end of a dead end. They also searched the nearby wooded area.
The investigation is ongoing into the circumstances surrounding the death of that teenager, in addition to an autopsy being conducted as we speak to determine cause and manner of death.
Those who live around here say
determine the cause of the manner of death. He was shot.
It's so strange.
How were they shot?
Salem, New Hampshire is right over the border from Lawrence. It's just right there. You could throw the stone and be in there.
Oh, so, that's okay. Nashua. Okay.
Yeah. What's that? Merrimack Valley, right there. So yeah, that's horrible. 15 years old. Wow. A dream come true. A local police officer is crowned Miss Massachusetts. I want to know when she had time to be
The police?
Yeah, police officer. A local police officer swapped her badge for a tiara over the weekend. Ashlyn Mercier of the Westboro Police Department was named Miss Massachusetts 2026 on Saturday.
She arrested me once.
When did you get arrested?
I don't know, but I feel like that should be a talking point that I say right
She said, I am overwhelmed with gratitude and extremely humbled and honored to say that I am your Miss Massachusetts 2026. She said in a statement, the dream has lived in my heart for the past 6 years, and I just cannot believe it has come to fruition. To represent my home state of Massachusetts on the Miss America stage is truly a dream come true. Hello, sir, ma'am. Don't you got some duties to do?
Duty. Is she still an active police officer? No, she's done.
Yeah, she traded in her.
Oh,
her
she's
badge.
done?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that she did. How long did she done from whatever? What I think is that she used the police training to train her body for this thing, and she used our system to propel her career into beauty pageantry.
Oh my goodness!
How you do that?
That's my theory.
Well, shoot, if police training can get me to the Miss America body, I'm about to go there too.
You's too old. You got the age.
Oh,
They just
damn.
increased the age to 42. I think.
Oh, I'm still too old.
I just missed the mark. Oh no, I think it's 43. I might be able to go.
How old are you?
I'm 42. I got a few more months to join the academy.
I met an officer maybe at Mattapan World Cup, and I said, "You look familiar. I've known you. We went to city school about 15 years ago." I said, "He's a cop now."
Yeah,
so I said, "How long you been on the force?" He said, "I just graduated last year." He about 40, about my age.
Oh, see, that's what that's what we need. We need mature cops to be there and make it with their frontal lobes almost closed by 40.
Why am I too old? I can do it.
There's a cutoff. It's the law.
That's not fair.
It's not. It's age.
Just like how we were.
Ageism.
I can go I could do ice though.
You can do ice. Ice, they take you up to
Ice ain't no
78
cutoff.
as long as you are racist.
The older the better.
The older the ice, because the more racist you're prone to be if you're older. Water safety experts on risk of pond swimming after 2 teens drowned over the weekend in 2 separate ponds, which is really, really terrible. It says that in the last month, 2 teenagers, boys, have drowned while swimming in Massachusetts pond. On Saturday, officials say Karen Costa, of 18-year-old from Quincy, drowned swimming in Hogan's Pond in Milton. And on Friday, 14-year-old Cody Nguyen of Andover died weeks after being pulled from Field Pond.
What was it, like 3 summers ago, where we were reporting on
it was like the first summer
drowning? No, it was when we were still in the other one. It was just drowning after drowning after drowning.
Crazy. The CDC says the drowning is the second leading cause of unintentional death for kids up to age 14. While any body of water could lead to drowning, experts say that there are factors that make ponds or lakes unique. When we look at lakes,
Quagmires.
Dude, played it there.
I played it.
Yeah.
All right, here goes the video. Here's the audio.
Hey, that's him.
Stay cool this summer.
Milton this weekend and Andover last month. 2 teenage boys, 2 drownings in public ponds at the very beginning of swim season.
As a parent, first and foremost, just condolences to the family members and the loved ones of the young children.
Jose Masso oversees the Swim Boston program, which has provided over 20,000 free swim lessons to city residents since its launch 4 years ago. The tragic drownings of 14-year-old Cody Nguyen of Andover and 18-year-old Kayron Costa in Milton are igniting a conversation about water safety.
We know that accidental drownings is the leading cause of death among children here in the United States. And so what is that we're doing is working to prevent this type of tragedy from happening here in the city of Boston.
Experts say while drownings can happen anywhere, open water like lakes and ponds present a unique danger, in particular because of often murky water.
A lot of kids don't, or even adults as well, don't realize that, the water can go from 3 feet to 9 feet in a matter of inches.
So you may not be able to see the floor of the lake. You may not be aware of the topography or the drop-off points. You also may be dealing with very, very cold water, which can also shock the system.
Another misconception,
so many people believe that drowning, and this is a huge myth, is going to be struggling and loud and they're going to be screaming for help and it's going to be very overt and obvious.
But that's not the case. A drowning can happen in seconds. Forensic aquatic expert Michael Usman explains.
There isn't much splashing. There certainly isn't any calling out for help because your airways are compromised.
As you take your kids or teens swimming this summer, experts say treat life jackets like a seatbelt and know your surroundings before you go.
We always
Wrap three
recommend,
around them.
walking around the water in the area that you're gonna swim and play before you actually go out and have fun.
Christina Rex, WBZ News.
That's crazy.
Let me order
And
a life
the
vest.
bedroom
I mean,
America
a life
isolated
suit.
A life suit, like a whole
Yes.
flotation device. You
Yeah.
can never go under. No, nothing. You surface the whole
Be like, Ma,
time.
how much can I go under? 1, 2, get up.
Not
Get
even-
up.
Put your foot is under. That's enough. For me. That's it. That's crazy.
Put
No,
it
no, no.
back over.
I don't like that. I don't
Yeah.
like drowning at all. Mayor Wu announces 2 downtown social districts through the month of July. So this is nice. We're gonna have 2 extra social districts today announced.
What that
What
mean?
that mean?
The patrons will be able to consume alcoholic beverages outdoors within the social districts at Union and Marshall Streets, located in downtown's Blackstone Block Historic District, and on Temple Place. Ain't that where Stella's is?
Oh, jeez.
In downtown Crossing. The initiative begins tomorrow, June 19th, which was last week, and will conclude on July 31st. By implementing these social districts, extending liquor license hours to 3 a.m. and other initiatives, the city is creating vibrancy for patrons and expanding opportunities for Boston businesses during one of the region's busiest
Besides
summers in recent years.
The 3 a.m. they're letting us drink outside.
In those 2 places.
So that's over there by
In front of
Union
Estella's.
Oyster House is where the Blackstone block is, by Union Oyster House. That's
Okay. And then the other one is Temple Place, which is where Estella's is.
Yeah.
So I can consume my drinking.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can drink out there, and it's open till 3 a.m. So you can be
I guess-
outside drunk.
I guess the only argument or pushback that I have to these things, and not necessarily a pushback, but if they can be implemented during this FIFA World Cup situation when we have so many visitors and tourists that we're not accountable for and things like that, why can't this be a more normalized
I think that's
thing?
why they're trying it out. I think they're going to try it because I don't think we've ever done anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
We won't even allow happy hours.
Right.
So I think that before we start opening the streets to liquor consumption,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we should just be allowed to have a drink in a bar
after work.
Do you
after
think
work.
that if this works out and it's successful, maybe they will
I'm hoping.
reconsider happy hour?
I'm hoping. We've seen.
Really,
Go ahead.
but I'm not really. I'll be very honest. I'm not really a big advocate on the happy hour, only because of children, young people that may have alcoholic parents. It kind of encourages bad behavior, and I have seen drunk. I have had friends that have gone after work with like a couple of their friends, and they have been quite intoxicated after they had a 1-2 Long Island ices.
Oh,
and can't
then
drive
they-
home.
I guess my pushback to that would be what would be the difference whether I have it at lunch or if I have it after work.
Because after work, they still got to go and pick up their kids and go straight home and go be drunk right after work. They're going to be drunk for the rest of the night with their children.
So wouldn't it make more sense for them to have happy hour? Well, I don't know.
And what is that? What exactly is happy hour? It's just discounted
It's just
drinks.
discounted drinks.
Mhm.
After, like, I don't see the difference of if I'm going to be drunk after work versus I'm gonna be drunk at 8 o'clock.
Because at least your children see you sober for a little bit when you get drunk.
You already at home when you get drunk.
And
If
you're
you
home.
get drunk at home,
The
but
kids just gonna see you drunk.
if you out and then go home drunk, how you want to get home? I think that was the beef with happy hour. Not specifically what Tristan is saying, but that people driving home after having some drinks after work was why happy hour got banned in the first place, right?
Y'all ain't really dealt. I know y'all ain't dealt with no alcoholic, but I have. It's not fun.
Oh.
I'm just speaking on that behalf.
I mean, yeah, I know. I can't contest that. For me, I just think that a discount, if I'm a drunk, I don't care about the discount. at the happy hour. I'm gonna buy my drinks anyways and go home drunk regardless.
Tony Bones said
I mean,
alcoholics
yeah.
get they fix regardless if they got happy hour or not.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how like that doesn't happy hour doesn't bother me because if I'm an alcoholic, I don't care how much it costs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna purchase it.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
gonna
true,
buy
too.
it at any part of the day, all
That's
day.
true.
And my children ain't never gonna see me sober because I'm an alcoholic.
Children know that when their parents.
Yeah, and that's why they got to. When they fall asleep, they go get the groceries and make dinner for them when they wake up.
Yeah.
That's what I saw in the movies.
No, that's how it always happens. That's how it goes. That's the rule. What else? No bail for the man accused of carjacking hit and run that killed a Dorchester woman. A lot more pictures have been coming out about her. Such a, that's so sad. So no bail for him. And why was that even considered? I don't know. We'll have to.
I thought that they sent him to the mental facility in Bridgewater or something
no.
Yeah, he got released to the mental facility for 30 days to figure out
what?
Oh, if he would be able to stand trial. What is that sound?
It's a fan.
I thought it was rain outside. I was like, golly.
Yeah.
To see if he would be able to stand trial because they are thinking that after the 30-day evaluation, then they will determine if he can stand trial for this case.
Okay, so that's what's going on with him. Police investigating a deadly shooting in Dorchester. So there was a Dorchester shooting last night. One person is dead. After a shooting in Dorchester on Monday night, officers responded to a report of a person shot in the area of 115 Milton Ave in Dorchester around 7:38 p.m., according to department spokesperson. The victim was allegedly found with a serious gunshot wound at 6 Selden Street in the rear of 115 Milton Ave. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene.
Terrible.
And then lastly, a man was arrested after running through the fatal crash scene on Saturday while laughing and filming in Nasspan.
Oh, I heard about this.
Yeah, and I took this one out yesterday because I'm like, you know what?
Oh, really? Okay.
You people, no, that's fine. Yesterday we had too many things.
Yeah.
You people got to do better.
Look at his age.
21. Yep.
What do you mean?
Massachusetts man was arrested after allegedly disrupting an active crime scene tied to a fatal pedestrian collision in Mattapan, according to police. The incident occurred around 7 p.m. Saturday as officers assigned to District B3 were securing the scene of a deadly motor vehicle crash near Blue Hill Ave and Fairway Street. Police said the crash had occurred hours earlier. Investigators were still processing the scene when officers spotted a man entering the area despite police tape and restrictions. According to the Boston Police Department, officers observed the suspect recording video of the crime scene while laughing. As officers moved toward him, the man allegedly fled and began running through the secured investigation area. Police say he ignored repeated verbal commands to stop and continued moving through the scene while recording video. Investigators say the suspect then poured the contents of a cup containing an unknown liquid into the middle of the crime scene. The man allegedly continued running around the area while laughing and filming before officers pursued him. After briefly evading several officers, the suspect was ultimately taken into custody on the median of Blue Hill Ave. Police identified the suspect as 21-year-old Robert Monesteem of Braintree. He was arrested at the scene and is expected to be arraigned in Dorchester District Court. He faces charges of disturbing the peace and interfering with a police officer. Authorities have not indicated whether the alleged actions affected evidence collection.
It didn't.
Or the
It's just
ongoing
annoying.
investigation into the fatal pedestrian collision. It's just stupid.
Yeah, he's a clown. And at 21 years old, the fact that you don't know right from wrong is bothersome to me. And the fact that you could make such light of such an horrible situation is just speaks to like mental health issues. I'm not excusing it because of mental health. Yeah, that's true. Like all of that
These
is just
kids
very
are
crazy.
so what is it? They're so deprogrammed. They're so just not
anything for a like. Anything for a like.
Desensitized.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Desensitized to
ridiculous.
losing life.
But anyhow, that is the local news. We're going to take a quick pause for the cause. And when we come back, we will be speaking with our former DA and hopefully maybe a new DA, Rachel Rollins. So that is that. This is Saucy and Friends in the Morning. Come on in. I don't know.
I'm going to commercial.
Yeah.
You're listening to Saucy and Friends in the Morning with Miss Hot Sauce, Miss Tony, and Rockstone Triz.
Igniting the airwaves, Spark FM.
Looking for bold flavor and good vibes? Come to Finn's Fusion, right at 1191 Blue Hill Avenue. We're bringing you the best of Caribbean cuisine with a touch of African flavors. From savory breakfast sandwiches to mouth-watering small bites, the famous steak and cheese on cocoa bread, and daily $6 lunch specials. Stop by grab a plate, and taste the fusion everyone's talking about. That's Finn's Fusion, 1191 Blue Hill Avenue, where flavor meets culture.
Boston, are you ready? Join us for the 7th annual Boston Black Pride happening July 1st through July 5th, 2026. Come celebrate 250 years of queer Black joy with 5 days of community and culture. From our health summit to our youth pride to our elder event to the Kiki Ball and Bossa brunch and our pool party and our nightlife events. And let's not forget our music and arts festival. There is something for everyone to do. Don't miss the biggest Black LGBTQ plus celebration in New England. Get your tickets and learn more at www.bostonblackpride.com and visit our social medias at Boston Black Pride Official. Boston Black Pride 2026, where community, culture, and pride come together.
Often I hear people talking about how high their electricity bills are. Massachusetts has programs that everyday homeowners pay for, but never look into. Have you ever considered why some homes have panels and others don't? If you have Eversource, National Grid, or Unitil for electricity, you are paying for your neighbors to get panels at no cost. The charges are on the bill. Why not get someone to pay for yours? This program also helps with re-roofing, tree cutting, and electrical upgrades. If you're tired of short-term solutions for a long-term problem, connect with Bakari to find out if your home meets the requirements to upgrade at no cost out of pocket. Save the planet, future-proof your family for power outages, and save tens of thousands of dollars on an otherwise lifelong bill. Mention Spark when you call or text SPARK to 617-833-8940 to get 2 months off your power bill covered if your home gets selected.
New England's spring and summer celebrations are amongst us. From proms, graduations, weddings, birthdays, cookouts, festivals, baby showers, and more. But let's be honest, nothing ruins an event faster than a bad DJ or a boring atmosphere. That's where Spark FM DJs and MCs come to save the day. Our professionally skilled, versatile team of entertainers specialize in curating unique, unforgettable experiences for all occasions. Private parties, corporate events, school celebrations, kid-friendly events, community festivals, and multi-genre music experiences for every crowd. Whether you need hosting, crowd engagement, or the perfect soundtrack, our DJs will keep you entertained start to finish. Book your Spark DJ today. Visit sparkfmonline.com. Submit an event inquiry form, and our team will contact you to customize the perfect package for your event. Spark FM Online. Sparking the soundtrack to your celebration.
Boston.
Wake your waistline up to your favorite Saturday morning radio show. It's the Vibes Up 360 morning show with specialist and DJ Junior. Every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Hashtag Vibes Up 360.
Vibe 360 Radio Morning Show.
All hits, all day, and it's all yours. You're listening to Spark FM online.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Did you know that you can now get a standard Massachusetts driver's license regardless of your immigration status? To get help with your application, a list of all required documents, and nearby appointment scheduling, visit mass.gov/WFMA. Your license is your way forward, so why not get started today? Register now at mass.gov/WFMA or call 857-368-WFMA.
Call Spark FM at 617-272-3387. The all-new Spark FM.
You're the baddest one.
Spark FM. You are now listening to Spark FM. Spark FM. Spark FM.
Oh, yes, you kindly. Miss Jolie, know your mango sweet, so Jolie, know your mango.
New England's #1 urban Caribbean music. Radio. Spark FM.
All right, we are back. Spark FM Online, #1 for urban and Caribbean music. It is time for Super Tuesdays, and on Tuesdays, because it's super, we bring in some of our city leaders who are vying for your support, vying for your votes, and all kinds of different things. Today, we have a very, very important lady in the building. We have former District Attorney Rachel Rollins. How are you?
Living the dream, my friend.
Living the dream.
I love that. I want to be able to say that all the time.
It's a lie. I'm not, but you say it, and then hopefully it comes true.
And that microphone could come right with you.
Okay, here
so
I
you
come.
can be
Right
a
up,
little bit
all
more
up on it.
comfortable.
I'm here.
So let's start with just the basics. How are you, and who are you?
So I am well, and I
Yeah.
appreciate you asking me that. Who I am, I think I would describe myself. I'm a mom of a beautiful 22-year-old daughter, my biological daughter. I'm the guardian of 2 of my nieces that I've had for 11 years. They were both in DCF custody, and I have taken them in. I'm a foster parent. I take in emergency hotline kids.
You love the children.
I love the kids, but for little amounts of time. For the DCF stuff, I have a little one right now that I'm going to probably have for another 5 or 6 days, but I can do short times for that. But I think I'm an advocate for sure. I'm a lawyer. I've been a public and elected official. And right now I'm just a person who lives in our community. I'm in Roxbury and have been for almost the last 10 years. And I feel like our community deserves strong leadership, and I'd like to earn the people's vote to get back to where I started at the DA's office in Suffolk County.
Why now? What made you decide that you want to come back into this role?
So a few things. I am so fortunate that since I left, right?
Yeah.
Remember, we ran back in 2018. Historic was told no.
And that was a great win.
Crazy, right? So we had, the former DA was Dan Conley, short little Irish man, who had his heir apparent that he had passed the throne onto, and all the white Irish leadership lined up behind him in Boston. I like to remind people I'm Black Irish, right?
Yeah.
My dad is Irish, and obviously my mom is Black. But, my dad is working class veteran Irish, not, lace curtain or 2 toilet Irish, they like to call it, right? So anyways, but we ran. I was with Ann, who helped with the campaign and was my partner in crime, and we beat 4 other Democrats soundly, put a whooping on them.
What did that feel like?
Oh, dude. It feel like your greatest moment. It was not just Ann and I. We brought community together. People were ready for change because the former DA did not care about our community, where overwhelmingly the shootings, the violent crimes were happening. He cared about where he lived in West Roxbury, and he gave the money of the DA's office to the whiter, more sort of affluent or whiter, parts of Boston. And I'm half white. White people need stuff too, but let's put the money in the places where the crimes are happening. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So we won. We beat 4 other Democrats, and then it's like winning a pie eating contest and being told the prize is more pie. Because I was
you have to go.
But I don't want more pie, right?
Yeah.
So then we had to go. That was the primary, and then we had to win the general. There was a sort of Republican / independent guy waiting for me, and we beat him soundly with 80% of the vote.
Crazy.
And then when you are exhausted, then you have to actually do the job.
You got to go to work. I was like,
So
oh yes, I
then we had
won.
to show
Now I
up to
got to
work.
do something.
And it was dope. We did remarkable things in that office in 3 short years.
Well, I mean, from your past record,
Yeah.
you have been pretty much cited across the country for your policy changes and different things. You've stated that you want to put the DA's office back into the community. What does that mean?
And I just want to say quickly before you say that, when you won for the DA that year, that felt like a win for a lot of us.
Oh yeah.
And because it was like Black representation, Black woman representation.
And she made history
And you made
as
history.
the first Black woman
Yes.
of color
Yeah.
to win that position.
Yeah.
First woman ever
Yeah.
of any color,
Yeah.
and then the first woman of color to win DA in New England.
Yeah.
Right. So
Abs-
all
In
of
New England.
So
Wow.
there's never been a woman of color, not just Black woman, any melanation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Or deliciousness.
Yes.
Right,
Aye.
had won in New England. So here's the thing. What was really beautiful was I met with everyone,
Yeah.
right, in my campaign. I met with the police. I met with judges. I met with defense attorneys. I met with people home. I met with 12-year-olds because that's the age you can enter the juvenile system.
Yeah.
A lot of people are, they can't vote, but you know what? They can be found delinquent
Yeah.
in the juvenile court. They can be put in right around the corner from here, DYS on Harvard Street,
Yeah.
right, Metro,
Yes.
where I teach in the murder unit and the Commonwealth Secure Detention Unit. I teach them civics, etc. But so there's just a part of this where I went behind the wall. I met with people at Norfolk and said, "You're doing life. What is going well?" Because remember, a lot of those men in Norfolk, they have family members out here that are voters, right?
Yeah.
They have family members that might be victims of crime. They have people with jobs who, pay taxes and do all the civic engagement that we all do every day. So there was no one I wouldn't meet with. I met with Republicans. I met with people that hated me. I met with people that loved me. And I think that's who I've always tried to be. And then when we
Well-rounded.
won, we brought people into that office. So we had individuals with criminal histories teaching our young ADAs about restorative justice. We had all of my assistant district attorneys, those the prosecutors in the office, were required to do a tour of the Suffolk County House of Corrections. And listen, I'm not a fool. I know a tour of a jail is not the same thing as going to jail. Right? But none of these fools had ever been there. And we send people there every day.
Yeah.
So remember, the majority of the people that work in the DA's office do not look like us, do not live in Suffolk County. In fact, the only person in the office, almost 300 people in that office, the only one required to live in Suffolk County is the DA.
I remember that exact question when I was over at Big City and we were interviewing you with Val Beats.
Yep.
And that was one of the most shocking things is that it's just very undiverse inside of the DA's office.
Crazy.
We're seeing it now more than everything. So I want to push back on that question. Like, why now? Like, why come back now?
I inherited, remember, back in 2018, I inherited an office from Dan Conley. All the top 11 people in the office were white.
Yeah.
They were smart. They were qualified. White people deserve to exist and have jobs, right? Don't hear me as saying any of that.
Yeah.
But when we look at who we're prosecuting, right?
Yeah.
There's not a single Latino, Black, Asian, AAPI, LGBTQ. There's no flavor whatsoever that can be hired in your leadership team.
Wow.
Dan Conley, no, there was not. That's one. So I added women, and there were 2 women, I think, out of the 11. So a very small percentage. I'll give him that credit. We were not in compliance with the Equal Pay Act, which requires women to, it's a mass law in the state.
Yeah.
Women weren't being paid the same amount as men in the office. So we had so much work to do, not just with the big outside policies for the community, but to get the kind of infrastructure of the office ready, right? Just
from the
starting.
fundamentals,
So what we did was we hired really competent, smart people, right? I had an Asian woman as my chief of staff. I had a woman for the first time as my general counsel. I had a first assistant that lived in Suffolk County, right? And as a survivor of homicide, right? Himself, right?
Wow.
Has family members like many of us do that have struggled with substance use disorder, mental health issues. We were deliberate about who we put in. We hired a fantastic licensed independent clinical social worker, woman of color, Haitian woman, who was my head of the VWA's Victim Witness Advocates. I will give a shout out. The current DA has promoted her. She's fantastic. I hired her, right? But
is the makeup still the same now, or
so the
since you
makeup?
left?
It's it's getting back to what the Dan Conley days were, because the current DA
yeah.
is obsessed with Dan Conley, and they're in a bromance, which is fine, right? But not for me, and quite frankly, not
I don't think
for
it's
us.
not fine. It's fine. It's not fine for us either.
It's
yeah.
not fine.
Where is Dan Conley now? What is he doing?
He's a partner at Mintz Levin, which is a big law firm in Boston. And as a person who was, a junior partner essentially at a big firm in Boston, what former DAs do when they go to law firms like this is they are essentially sitting around waiting for wealthy clients, usually on the business side. Right? All of them send their kids to college where? Harvard, BU, BC, Northeastern. We are the mecca of colleges. So Dan Conley is very invested in Kevin Hayden staying there and giving him money and having fundraisers, because what do you think Dan Conley does when his wealthy clients say, hey, my son sexually assaulted somebody in college this weekend, or got drunk and drove down 93 North the wrong way, right? Or punched somebody in the face at a club at Boston, or threw a water bottle at Kyrie Irving, which, that should be on my list of do not prosecute. No, I'm just joking. No throwing water bottles at Kyrie.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
But anyways, but all jokes aside, they commit a crime. When you give money to this DA, is it in exchange for, I'll dismiss the case, right? And those aren't my words. We need only look back to 2022 when he ran last time, and there were allegations by the MBTA Police Department. Remember, 6 police departments in Suffolk County: Winthrop Police, Chelsea Police, Revere Police, Boston Police, Mass State Police, and Transit Police. Back last time at the election in 2022, the MBTA police went ballistic and basically said, we hate DA Hayden. We don't want to bring any more cases to the DA's office. We want to bring them to the Attorney General. We've lost faith in this person. Fast forward to today, 2026. Stevenson King is killed by Officer O'Malley. Boston Police Patrolmen's Association, the biggest police union in New England, basically, just essentially had a vote of no confidence for this DA. So a third of the police departments have lost confidence in this DA. And some people might say, well, isn't that good? We don't like the, it's like, well, no, like
we need everybody.
We need everyone working together. You can hold people accountable. And believe me, as much of a fire rod or hose, or what's the phrase? Cracker, right? Cracker. No, firecracker. I don't mean cracker, but firecracker, right? That I might be. Nobody ever had a vote of non-confidence, right, with me, right? We were able to look at each other and disagree and then move forward with the work. We are able to hold people accountable and disagree without being disagreeable.
It's called respect.
And respect each other, or, but at the same time, we always brought community into the conversation. So I will say, I just think right now there's a lot of, murders are creeping up. Shootings are creeping up. We're in Mattapan right now, right? We just had that horrific situation with Mabinti being dragged and murdered by Ibrahim Matos. And so that individual had multiple felony charges.
So wait,
we've been speaking a lot on this.
Yeah, we have been speaking.
Go. Let's talk.
Because that also brings me back to the case of the man that shot up Cambridge the other day.
Tyler Brown.
Tyler Brown. And you were very vocal on when he was prosecuted in your office before, you had advocated for more time, more punishment. And you're not even that girl who advocates for that. You're very declined to prosecute a lot of smaller crimes. But in this situation, you were very adamant that he did deserve more time. And then we see what happened with that. What is the disconnect happening there, where a lot of career criminals are right back out on the street, but then smaller offenses are now being prosecuted like they are murder trials and things?
You need to be the next DA. I'll step down and I'll vote for you.
Confused.
You've hit it on the head. That's my point, is what I said was non-violent, non-serious crimes. We act like they're the crimes of the century. We're putting 70% of the office's budget into the municipal and district courts, where a majority of those cases ultimately get dismissed. And in 3, 6, 9 months, after 5 or 6 court dates that nobody gets anything done at that time, I just said, why don't we not delay the inevitable? Let's just dismiss them or divert them. These are non-violent, non-serious crimes. early so we can put all that money into solving the 1,500 unsolved homicides in Suffolk County, overwhelmingly Boston, dating back to the 1960s. So we can, disrupt violence in the shooting that we see happening. We can focus on who are the people. Let's look at data and see over the last 17 or 20 years, we have all that data available to us.
Yes.
Let's see who are the people that recidivate. What are the crimes? We are so quick to use our phones for things. I can yell in my phone, best burrito, 30 yards from here. And they'll have a list of, and by the way, I'm going to once I leave because I'm hungry. All right. But more importantly,
let us know where it is.
I'll text you guys later. But you know what I mean? We can say best burrito, Mexican, not El Salvador, whatever, all these things, and boom, 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 pops up. We don't do any of that for crime.
Yeah.
Sauce is a big advocate of like, why don't you just Google?
Yeah.
Google. That's my point. Google. And so remember, I had at least 10 public-private partnerships that I had negotiated zero cost to the people of Suffolk County. They were looking at all of our data back to 15, 20 years to see, can we look at recidivism differently? Can we see, are white people or black people charged differently for the same crimes, or Latino or poor, or West Roxbury different than Roxbury, or H block different than the Inc block, right? Like all these different things we look at. And the new DA came in and none of those relationships continued.
So that was one of the things. Your policies, like I said, your policies were kind of copied throughout the country because they actually worked. They got results. We saw the results and we saw them working. I don't feel like that was ever your issue at all, because I think that you set the standard of what it could look like for reform, recidivism, and a lot of different things. If we're going to kind of get a little bit into the fold right now, your resignation as the U.S. attorney followed findings of ethics violations and received significant public attention. Looking back on that today, and I've heard you in other interviews discussing it, and from your voice into this community, what do you believe was one of your biggest mistakes?
Yeah, so I'll start with allegations.
Yes.
And so that's the biggest word. And by the way, Sean Ellis, I think, is at the door. So
I wanted to ask you about that too, just like on a basic level. We see a lot of crimes and going, but along the lines of what you're saying, because you said allegations is the word. When we see things that happen and we know that it happened, why do they have to say it's alleged?
Oh, so smart. Okay. So let's, I'm not going to put you in law school for a minute, but like let's start with some basic things.
Okay.
The biggest difference in law, and the question you ask is it civil or is it criminal?
Yes.
All right. And the way we find the difference is civil is stop doing that and give me some money. And criminal is stop doing that, give me some money, and you're behind, can go to jail.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Those are the biggest differences, those two things.
I learned that in OJ trials.
I love that. Okay, right? So criminal is you can go to jail, and the standards are probable cause or beyond a reasonable doubt. We can talk about that later. And you are found guilty.
Yes.
Civil, the words they use are responsible.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And you're not guilty of a civil crime.
Yeah.
You are responsible. You're found responsible. Okay. So those are the biggest differences. There's one other little weird section called like administrative policy. And the best way I can tell you is, you know what the registry of motor vehicles is?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you I hope this doesn't happen to either of you. You get pulled over, you're alleged to be drunk driving.
Yeah.
You have a constitutional right to not incriminate yourself. So you can say no to the breathalyzer, no to the field sobriety test. But guess what? The RMV is going to take your license away for 6 months because you refused.
Yeah.
That's an administrative decision they have.
Oh, okay.
It's not a crime, but having a license is not a right.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm in this world over here in the administrative thing. So the Office of Inspector General at the Department of Justice is an administrative function.
Yes.
And what they did was it was alleged, they claimed that I engaged in misconduct. And these aren't my words. The title of the report is Alleged Misconduct by United States Attorney. So I will start, hi, Sean, with those words that it was allegations. And I will end with the fact that, of course, there are things that now looking at it, would I do differently? 100%.
Yeah.
But I also feel like everyone has a right to sort of explain their side of the story.
Yeah.
And what I won't be do is what I won't be do. I don't even know what language.
I know what you're saying.
I'm confused because Sean Ellis just walked in the room.
We were going
and we're in the
we knew what
presence
you were
of greatness.
saying.
Sit down here, Mr. Ellis. So what I won't be do. No, I'm joking. What I will not do is be silenced about saying, this is what I believed when I engaged in this conduct.
Yeah.
Clearly, the Office of Inspector General didn't agree,
Mhm.
but they have a right to sue you.
Yeah.
They have a right to fine you.
Mhm.
And what will not happen, and believe me, as the DA and the U.S. Attorney, two of the highest prosecutorial jobs of the three in any state, I promise you, I know this better than anyone. They didn't sue me because they couldn't prove it.
Yeah.
And they didn't fine me because it wasn't as bad as what they claimed it was.
They
And
settled on a public reprimand.
that's a different thing. But
Uh-huh.
yes, so the Board of Bar Overseers, remember, lawyers are like barbers and
Yeah.
like now police. We have a license.
Mhm.
And so ultimately the BBO agreed that I did not lie to
Okay.
the Office of Inspector General. They said I wasn't truthful with my staff. And they said my client was the Attorney General, not the people of Massachusetts or the United States. And I did not necessarily agree, but like many people in the criminal justice system, and we'll talk to Sean about this, if you can agree to something and say, you know what, is this going away? That's fine. So I will do that, right?
Yeah.
And I agreed to that. No
And
fine, no
you
loss
agreed
of
to
license.
resign instead of them trying to dig into this investigation.
No. So what I did was I said with the Office of Inspector General as U.S. Attorney,
Mhm.
I did resign, but I resigned honestly because I had received multiple death threats, and one about 2 weeks before I was leaving as U.S. Attorney. An emotionally disturbed person called into the office on May 5th. Remember, I announced my resignation May 16th and said they were screamed my name, called me a bitch, said they were coming in with the shotgun. And for 5 hours, my office didn't tell me. I went out and got, snacks and was like, I could have been
They
killed.
didn't tell you?
Did not tell me for 5 American hours.
Yeah.
And then when I finally was told, essentially they were like, I'm not joking. Well, he didn't say he was going to shoot you. And so I just said, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm going home.
Because there's no protection.
There's
there.
no protection. And I have kids. And so it certainly did not help that there was an investigation going on. But I think a big misconception is I resigned exclusively because of that. I had multiple death threats, and we can talk about that. But I want to make sure we are, and I promise I will answer any of those questions. But we have been joined by greatness, and I'd like to make sure we say hello to.
And this is such a special treat
It
because
really is,
you are legitimately a celebrity here.
Please. Oh,
because
please.
we're like, she's coming here.
Can we put the mic on?
She
Sean?
says, you know who Sean Ellis is, right? We're like, what do you mean? Do we know who
Welcome to Spark FM. How are you?
Well, thank you for having me.
How do you
Yeah, we'll slide this right in front of you and put the headphones on.
Yes.
Hello, my dear. Sorry I didn't say hi to you earlier.
All right. Yeah, can you hear?
I can.
Okay, now we can hear you good too. Your
Oh, my headphone? Okay. Are they up? Oh, no, this one. Yeah, I think. Is it working, Sean? Okay.
Welcome, Sean. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. How are things going?
Things are going good. Busy, but productively busy. So, I can't complain.
Good,
Nice.
good, good.
Good to hear that.
And how are you in relation to this lady?
I look at her from afar, and I continue to be proud of her and impressed by her. But my personal story is I'm an exoneree from Massachusetts that was ultimately exonerated by then DA Rachel Rollins.
Yeah, absolutely. We all watched the documentary, and we saw Rachel a lot in that documentary.
Black Irish. But I was like the weird step cousin in it. Sean was like the handsome main character.
Absolutely. And I think that we all felt exonerated, and definitely not up to the levels of you, but we all felt exonerated in your case. So can you speak to that in the case somebody might not know who you are?
So I was tried 3 times, convicted, and spent nearly 22 years in prison for a crime that I didn't commit. I was charged with 3 crimes. One was murder, the other was robbery, and then it was possession of firearms. And 3 of the 2 charges were dismissed in 2020. And I had been home for 3 years, still under the threat of a 4th trial. And so after those two of the three charges were dismissed, I continued to pursue the exoneration of the final charge.
That's right.
And that is where then the Rollins then in office ended up exonerating me. And like I have to say that given the history and the track record, I know, or I believe strongly, right, that it would have been an uphill fight. And me and my legal team, Rosemary Scarpiccio.
Shout out to her.
Oh yeah.
I always said,
Absolutely.
man, Rose on speed dial.
Can y'all get her in here?
Yeah, but like the way that she dealt with the injustice that I was dealing with was in a way that I hadn't seen, and my community hadn't seen the likes thereof. It took somebody bold and courageous to like be able to do that.
Absolutely.
And let's explain, right? So I win in 2018, the primary in September, and then the general. Couple weeks before I take office, January of 2019. Remember, Dan Conley leaves when his client doesn't win, or his client, his prodigal son doesn't win. And he essentially puts the office in like disrepair, right? Or crisis, because they're like, holy crap, our colleague didn't win the election, which we thought he would. Now Dan's leaving to go to Mintz and wants a press release or conference to say, this is where I'm going. And then I come in. And a couple weeks before I started, Sean, is when they dismissed the murder with the firearm and the armed robbery of the firearm. But they were smart. They kept the possession charge, because the only way you can be exonerated is if everything is wiped out.
Right.
So they kept this one, obviously possessing a firearm is not a minor offense, but compared to murder and armed robbery, it's not as serious. So they said, oh, don't worry, Rachel, you're inheriting. The case is done. You don't have anything to do. And to your lawyer's credit, who never takes no for an answer, right? And not for me, but she has called me many times and yelled and screamed. And I'm like, really, Rose? Okay. But she called and said, no, it's not enough. I want the firearm possession charge. And Sean, I've told you this before, my entire staff, every single person, people I trust, people I brought in there myself, said, do not assent to this motion, right? Demand, demand that his girlfriend file an affidavit and recant, and all that, his girlfriend at the time, right? But all that, and I said, I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is the 3 police officers that our Superior Court judge and our Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts have found were running a criminal enterprise for 6 years in the Boston Police Department. Why aren't we talking about that? Why aren't we holding them accountable the same way you want to hold Sean accountable, who's been,
it's the Butt Biden syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but there's a piece of this where I was like, I don't want my name associated with a quote unquote win, which is what the office looks at convictions as. We are the Commonwealth versus Sean Ellis. Sean Ellis is part of the Commonwealth. And I get it. Officer, it's not O'Malley. No.
Sarah Robinson.
And the deceased.
Mulligan.
Officer Mulligan, however corrupt he was, did not deserve to be murdered. And what I think is lost in this is, he was killed, and
there was no justice.
No justice for his family because they were focused on the wrong person, right? But everyone wants to focus on, but Sean's out, and what about him? It's like, look, corruption and racism seeps through everything, right? And those 3 police officers that were with Mulligan and were running that criminal enterprise, some of them are collecting a pension right now from the city of Boston.
That's usually how it goes.
It is exactly how it goes. And so millions of dollars have gone into trying Sean almost 4 times for a crime he didn't commit.
Which I tell people, I don't like these stories as great as they are, do not make me ever feel good, because of the time that you spent in there for a reason that you did not need to spend in there.
And look at how kind
so
and
I'm glad that you're out, but I feel
young.
I feel always so deeply connected to the person that was lost while you were behind bars that didn't get to experience life. And that usually is what pisses me off, even after you guys have gotten exonerated.
Yeah, but look at his life now.
It's so great.
Right,
and I'm so happy for you now, but I'd be wanting to.
So for those that haven't, aren't familiar with Sean's story, Sean was accused of murder when you went to buy Pampers, right, from Walgreens, and where you went to go do that, you were accused of murder, or what was it?
Shooting a police officer.
Robbery, right.
And possession of a firearm,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so Mulligan was asleep in front of that Walgreens.
Right, he was
Yeah. Is that
right.
on Cumming? What
Cummings
highway?
Highway.
Cummings.
Yeah, it's closed now.
It's closed now.
American Legion. I know one of those highways.
Yeah.
But it's you can watch it on Netflix. It's
Trial
still,
4.
Streaming on Netflix. It's called
And
Trial
how
4.
old were you at that time?
19.
19. Yeah. Terrible.
So Sean would have been eligible under another big case. So there are only 2 things I wrote with my own little Twitter fingers myself as the DA of Suffolk County from 2019 to 2022. I wrote the motion, the assented to motion for a new trial for Sean myself. And I signed my name and my bar number on that
As the
document
DA?
as
Yeah.
the DA.
Yeah.
Because, and there are people in the office that were like, I don't want to do it and whatever. And I said, no doubt. And when we win, you're not getting credit for a thing. I'll
Absolutely
make
not.
sure to
Yeah.
remind everyone you
Absolutely.
didn't want to stand on the side of justice
Mhm.
when we see, because remember, everyone thinks it's just me thinking I'm, a dictator.
Yeah.
We had to go before a judge who
Absolutely.
then had to agree. Now, granted, it was easier because I had assented to, meaning I agreed to their motion as opposed to opposed their
Right.
motion, right? But still, a judge had to look at all of this and say, I agree with what you guys are proposing. And the other thing I wrote was the Mattis, Watt, and Robinson motion that came out of Suffolk County. Those are 3 Suffolk County cases that ultimately determined, which our Supreme Judicial Court just did, that 18 to 20-year-olds, the brain science proves that
Huge.
they can get life, but they have to be eligible for parole. Now, remember, that means you could still serve life.
Yeah.
You might never get parole, but there has to be that hope and
Yeah.
possibility because your brain is still developing at that time. I was the first DA in the United States of America to ever argue that I agreed that as a DA, I agreed with that brain science that I believed we should not just jump 1 year to 18, we could jump 3.
Yes.
And so I'm proud of that, right? There are some really significant firsts that we did.
How did you how are you so progressive in thinking about these things? Oftentimes we hear about the crime rates within Black people and this and the per capita and blah 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 and yada yada yada. Why did you go against the grain and say, let's try something different?
Yeah.
Let's not try all of these. Let's look at a 10-point, situation to see if they fit this mold, if they're, if they can reoccur. Like, why did you step out on such a limb to try to change things so drastically?
Because I feel like when you look at these systems, remember, before I ran for DA, I was an assistant district attorney, but in Plymouth, right?
Yeah.
Before I became the U.S. attorney, the first Black woman ever in all of New England, in the oldest U.S. attorney's office in the United States of America, opened in 1789.
Whoa.
1789.
17.
When was that? Right? That's Massachusetts and Virginia are the first 2, right? That ever. So before I did all of that, I worked in the U.S. Attorney's office, and I was one of a handful of Black people that when I would walk into the federal courthouse as an assistant United States attorney, my colleagues or criminal defense attorneys would run up and be like, there you are. Who are you? You're the interpreter, right? No. Right. Or seriously, or the U.S. Marshals, right? When I was a lawyer at a big law firm, walking in a suit with a briefcase and a Redwell, those files you carry, and said, hey, the family sits over there. When I went to walk up as a lawyer, I've experienced all of this. They only know us as defendants. They don't care about us when we're victims. And I just said, we can do better at this, right? I have no problem holding people accountable. But the difference between me and a Dan Conley, and very candidly, even this current DA and others, is I'll look you dead in the face and say, no, your son is going to go to jail, right? I know you love him. You know what he loves? Guns. And you know what we aren't going to do is continue to have him with multiple open firearm cases out here. It's not working. We need to remove him from the community. Now, I know he's more than just these charges, but I will meet with defendants' families, people accused. I'll meet with the victims' families. I'll meet with anyone. And when you can look people in the face and tell them your decision with your shoulders back,
your
right?
chest out,
and your chest out, people feel confident in what you're doing. And
Yeah.
I don't care. Turn the radio down, turn the volume down when you see this current DA talking. It's not, there's no confidence there, right?
Yeah.
Papers are being held, they're shaking in their hand, it's ghostwriter stuff. You just need people that are truthful and honest and aren't lying to you or only out here because there's an election happening. So for me, it is vitally important.
Onto this subject right here. Many of our listeners are from Black, Brown, Caribbean, this
Diaspora.
community. Yeah. What message do you have for our residents that already don't believe in this justice system?
Yeah.
They don't believe that it works in our favor. We're seeing the trial case of Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf right now.
Yeah.
And so in these, we already come with the notion that the criminal system is not set up for us.
Last week we had the gentleman that was released from jail from serving 21 years. And he got, and I think they're only going to give him $1 million.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Well,
think
hopefully, Sean, you get $1 million from the state. And then if you're fully exonerated, you can then file what's called a 1983. It's a constitutional claim in federal court.
Okay.
And then get, make it
It's a
rain.
good year.
Right?
Yeah, because that's what I was
Sean
gonna
can talk about that.
But yeah,
Hold
and
on-
then
hold on
Sean can
one
even
sec, really
answer
quick.
that
Sean,
question
yeah.
too. Like, what can help as a Black man? What can help this community in particular feel like, maybe electing Rachel again would be beneficial to us because we already don't necessarily trust the legal system. We don't really think that they're working for us. How can we have more confidence in the legal system with our DA, whether it's the current, the old, the next? What do we do?
I think one of the most important things is you want somebody there that sees you as a person, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because what upset you earlier, you spoke to was how I was treated as a person on top of the injustice.
Yeah.
So you want somebody in our office that, as was said, you're gonna speak to the defendant's family and you're gonna speak to the victim's family, but then whatever the truth is, you're gonna stay in the truth, but your shoulders back and the chest out, saying what it is, and then standing on it.
Yeah.
And in terms of the compensation piece, there is a bill that's currently being considered in the State House to change the law around compensation that can be looked up as well.
Okay, so what you would, yeah.
Yeah, and remember, so couple things. I, as DA, in 3 years, undid almost 400 years of wrongful convictions.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So looked back and said, did we get this right? And if you are afraid to look back to see if you got it right, that's a problem in the first place, right?
Do you, a quick segue, do you think that you were targeted because of that?
I will leave that to the people to decide.
I'm just saying, because we see corruption and misappropriation
Yeah, yeah.
happening all the time. I'm just, regardless of who's here, we see it happening more with people of color, especially women of color,
for sure.
always under attack, extra scrutinized for mistakes or misappropriation or different things. Like, how do you?
Yeah, I mean, look,
back
I
into
think
it?
I definitely deserved a slap in the face for what happened with respect to the allegations, right? Even, and there are people that are like, you didn't do anything wrong. It's fine. Okay, it was messy. That's fine.
Yeah.
But what I didn't deserve, if you watch Game of Thrones, is the Cersei walk.
Yeah.
Of me
Absolutely.
naked, being tomatoes and
Shame,
rocks thrown at shame.
shame.
Right. And mine was 3 miles longer. Right.
Yeah.
And so I don't need anyone to look at me as a victim. But what
Yeah.
I'm saying is I stand on business.
Yeah.
And we had a 20-year low in homicides my first year. And I'm very proud to say that number continues to go down. But one homicide is too many.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Nobody wants to hear, ooh, we're doing great with homicides when your family member is one of the people that was killed
Absolutely.
out of the 35 or the 25 or whatever the numbers are that we have. We do need to be proud that it's going down, but one is too many. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, you can those two things, you can do more than one thing at the same time.
Yeah.
You can make sure that you're thoughtfully being smart on crime, disrupting crime, making sure you're looking in different lanes, right? If the mayor is cutting money to youth jobs and youth opportunities, we can't be saying we're the safest city in the country or in America and then cutting youth funding.
Yeah.
Right. And right now, this current
Cutting
DA,
youth funding and increasing police budget.
right.
Yeah.
And so and even if they did complete, and increase police, my point is don't cut the youth. And the mayor has an incredibly hard job. I get it. Where do you cut the funding? But what you need is an autonomous DA, not somebody that's in her pocket to say, hey, quietly at first, maybe, Mayor, you can't cut youth jobs, right? Because
this is going to affect my job.
And the people of Suffolk County. We're going to have more shootings, more homicides, everything. And then if they don't listen, the mayor, you loudly say that, right? Publicly, right? And say, look, we agree on many things. This is something we don't agree on. And we don't have that right now. What we need is autonomy. What we need is strength, et cetera. And I'll end with, with Sean and the compensation piece, it's too hard once you win. Once you get that, motion for new trial is granted. We currently, Steve Pina, the current DA, went on Jim Browdy, right? And said, oh, whatever the judge decides, I'll do, right? Okay. So the judge, like Sean, says, okay, I'm granting a motion for a new trial, Steve. We think your constitutional rights were violated horrifically.
Yeah.
And the DA then appeals it, and now it's up in front of the Supreme Judicial Court. So yes, he has a right to do that, but I just feel like look people in the face and say, I changed my mind. You have every right to do it. But when you're shady and you're cowardly, that doesn't work for me. So I'll say I have had exonerees that I then wrote a letter to the Attorney General for the $1 million to say, we found him not guilty, right? When we assent to a motion for a new trial and it's granted, it goes back to the day before you were indicted. I'm sorry, the day after you were indicted. Okay. So we can just set a new trial date if we want. The next step I did with Sean is we filed what's called a null pros, meaning the case is done. It goes back to the day before you were charged with the crime. That's what we need to do when exonerations happen. And it shouldn't be a year or two at the Attorney General's office. It should be immediately if we found that, even though it's a civil standard. It's a different standard at the Attorney General's office. Why are we reinventing the wheel? These people have been through enough. Let's expedite that process so they get the money they're entitled to. And I think, Sean, for every year people do, they should get a year in the Mass State pension.
Me too.
And watch how quickly, because you did a year for the state. Watch how quickly the police whip into shape then if it's going to be pension money that we're all paying.
I wanted to ask you, just kind of going back to Sauce asked you about if you thought you were targeted because of who you are. And then you mentioned the death threats, which ultimately led to you resigning from your job. In coming back into a position like this, aren't you opening yourselves up for more of those type things? And how do you deal with that?
I mean, I think it's a great question. So when I was the DA, I had the best group of Boston police detectives that about 5 of them, like the current DA has, that were on constant watch of the DA. When I got that death threat on May 5th, 2023, and my staff said, like, well, he said he was coming with a shotgun and called you a bitch, but he didn't say he was going to shoot you.
That's so unbelievable.
I was then told by them, don't you know people at the Boston police that can help you with this? And it's like, I'm sorry, is that the Department of Justice's policy, right? When the U.S. attorney's life is threatened, that it's my job to call the BPD? So anyways, the Boston police I did call. They were fantastic. B2, shout out to B2.
Shout out to B2.
Shout out to B2. No, B3's right here.
B3's right here. And then
B2 is Roxbury, right?
Oh, that.
Which way? You're pointing. We'll just point.
B2's
shout out to B2, my B2 people. Drove by my house, checked on me, and that's what they do, right? And so as DA, you have round-the-clock protection. I do want to say one other death threat I received back in May of 2022, about 4 months after I started as U.S. Attorney. There was a photo of me. I'm going to show this to you. I blocked out my address, but it basically has multiple photos of me. It says, meet Rachel Splain Rollins, first nigger U.S. attorney for the District of Massachusetts. Had my home address on it. 3 different pictures of me with all my different hairstyles. And then an AR-15 on the side, and it says the list. The list. And when I showed that to the U.S. Marshals and my staff at the U.S. Attorney's office,
I was trying to put it on the camera.
They said, no, that's First Amendment. It's not a threat.
What?
And I said, wait a minute. wait a minute, why is my home address there?
Yeah.
Right. Why do they have multiple photos? AR-15. This was days, by the way. Remember the Tops supermarket murder?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
some white lunatic with an AR-15
Yep,
and the
absolutely.
word nigger on it
Yep.
killed 10 black people
Yes,
in a supermarket
yes.
in Albany?
Yeah.
Days after that, this comes out. My office tells me, yeah, sorry, First Amendment, not a threat.
Wow.
And then isn't it?
So what
Was your
constitutes a
office not
threat?
protecting you at all?
Well,
What constitutes a threat then?
well, that girl, you see that face and those lips that
Yeah.
are moving? That was my face and my lips when I said it to my all white staff. Like, wow. And by the way, if this had been a swastika, right,
Right.
we
Yeah.
would have deployed the FBI down to
National
anything.
Guard.
As well we should.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not
Yeah.
in any way disparaging that, but all of us deserve the same
That's
response that certain communities get
Yes.
when they're targeted. So let me just finish.
Yeah.
This is a copy of it says sealed, but it was unsealed. 2 years after this happened, this death threat in California, 3 people have been arrested for plotting to murder federal officials.
Oh, of course.
And so do you think my office called to say, oops?
No.
Right. So this is what happens to black women, right? Is that we are threatened. Nobody cares. And, again, I don't need you to coddle me.
Or
I'm not a
victimize you,
victim.
yeah.
This is also a document where finally proving there was a threat. I demanded my office file a threat document on May 5th, 2023. After that, there's no one for the thing that happened in 2022 because they didn't believe it was a threat. But we know it was because the Department of Justice has arrested 3 people and charged them with doxing a federal official and soliciting the murder of 3 federal officials, a U.S. attorney, a U.S. senator, and a U.S. district court judge. And obviously I was the U.S.
So
attorney.
how onto her question about, facing these types of death threats, how difficult was it to get back into this race given the scrutiny that you would be under and what all else happened? Like you're walking into a pit of fire almost with a lot of people that don't necessarily feel like they can trust. you.
And that has my info on it. So don't show
Yeah,
that.
don't show that.
That I did not want it. Y'all can see where I live, but I don't want everyone. I don't need everyone up in my business. But thank you. But I did want to make sure you saw that.
Yeah.
So look, people aren't trying to kill people that aren't doing big things.
Yeah, if you ain't
right?
got no haters, you ain't popping.
Thank you, Cat Williams.
Yeah.
Cat Williams, get you
Yep.
10 more haters, right?
Yep.
So here's my point. Our community deserves fighters. The reason why it is important that you vote for district attorney is because Black, poor, and brown people are most adversely impacted by the criminal justice system, right? DAs are the most powerful people in the system. You think the police are, you might think the judge is. If the police arrest you, you don't get in front of a judge unless a DA says, we're going to take these charges and move forward with this case, right? So the point is that DAs get to decide what charges you get. They get to decide whether they're asking for bail or a dangerousness hearing. They get to decide if you're charged with a crime that has a mandatory minimum. They get to decide what evidence you get and what evidence you don't. By the way, every one of these cases, and Sean Ellis is just one of them, how much evidence was not turned over to you by who was the DA that prosecuted you?
Ralph
Martin,
yeah.
right? And then who was the DA that opposed every single motion that you filed before me? Dan Conley, right? Okay, so the point is Ralph charged him, Ralph Martin, Black Republican district attorney, right? And remember, not all skin folk are kinfolk. Okay, so we love putting people of color in roles that want to be certain things in certain communities and something else when they're with white people.
Yeah.
And here's who I am. If I'm in West Roxbury, I'm Rachel Rollins. If I'm in Roxbury, I'm Rachel Rollins. I am the same Rachel Rollins, no matter where I go. And that's what I'm proud of, right? So the people of Suffolk County have to decide whether that's what they want or not. But no matter, I'm asking for your vote. I want to earn your vote.
Yeah.
And that's what is important to me. But whoever you choose, you have to vote on September 1st, 2026. Because if you don't, you can't complain later.
Oh, I hate it. I don't even vote. So why are you saying anything right now?
When you get pulled over and you get FIO'd and you get charged with something and you don't have the money to give to this DA's campaign to get the case dismissed, or you don't know somebody that knows him, that's why you need written policies. Because no matter whether you're rich or poor, white or
We all
black,
fall into the
you
same
know, Republican or Democrat, unenrolled. We're going to apply the same things to everyone.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, rich, wealthy people of all colors are afraid of like, oh, you're pulling us down to the floor. No, I'm lifting the floor up to your ceiling.
Exactly. I like that.
Everyone deserves the
that.
same opportunities that you get. That's who I am. I don't care if you contribute to my campaign or not. That's not why I'm doing this. I want your vote. I want your vote. That's what I want, right?
So into that, I like how you ended that just now. I want your vote. Many of our own people will be the most harshest critics when it comes to trust. A lot of them would say that they don't trust because of whatever had happened. What would you say directly to the people who are still kind of skeptical about who you are?
For sure.
And just from sitting here listening, I will put myself out there right now. It is never I petty hearsay and foolishness like that never determined for me who a person is. What a lot of people are not under that same umbrella of, hey, they did something wrong, they're in a public office, I don't trust them, they knew better, they knew what they should have done. What would you say directly to those people who are still in that line of fire and believe that they can't necessarily trust you?
Well, first, I'd say I'd love to speak to you and earn your trust, number one. And that's my job, not yours.
Love that.
Number one. And number two, I'd say I want you to know every candidate that's in this race.
Yeah.
There's only one candidate in this race that has admitted and been found to be unethical. And it's not me. The current DA has a state ethics violation for interfering with his election. 4 days before the 2022 election, he used your Suffolk DA's office as his own personal communications department to disparage his opponent. And there were so many articles about all the bad things that were happening there. 3 days after the election, as U.S. attorney, I said to the Herald, here's an email proving we're going to look into all the nonsense that he's doing. So to me, how can you interfere with an election that happened 3 days ago? 3 days ago. So what I did was 3 days after the election. What he did was weeks and 4 days before. And there's only one of us that has a state ethics violation and finding and a $5,000 fine. So look, best case scenario is no one's looking into you at all. Right? Next best is they look into you and say, all right, you made a mistake. Here's a ticket, right? Or we're writing something.
Absolutely.
Worse than that is you made a mistake. Here's a ticket and you owe us some damn money. And it could have been $100, $1,000. He got $5,000. Worse than that is here, you did something wrong. We're writing about it. Here's a fine. And we're criminally charging you, right? And or you lose your law license or something else like that. Every person in this race has either a BBO complaint or a state ethics complaint, right? BBO is because we're all licensed lawyers. So I'm not saying you have the worst three possible. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you bet I'll be held accountable. But I will explain what I've done, but you will hold other people to the same account as you're holding.
And
me.
you should.
And there's only one person who's ever been the DA and the U.S. attorney. And I will tell you, I understand this job. You trusted me before I did this job. And look at what I did for you then. 20-year low in homicides, 400 years of wrongful convictions undone. Black people actually represented in this office, language capacity, community members showing up and being involved in this office. And as U.S. attorney, I created the first human trafficking unit in New England. That is the busiest one in the country. It did all of these wonderful things. And I will make sure that I am fighting like hell for you to make sure we are safe, we are respected, we have a voice at the table, and we aren't targeted and over-policed and over-prosecuted.
And you've got a track record to show that.
And I have a track record to show it.
Rapid fire real quick before we end, because we're a little bit over. One word to describe your journey.
Oh, wonderful and grateful and blessed.
What's the biggest misconception people have about Rachel Rollins?
That I'm a grouch, I think. And I'm actually, I can be grouchy, but I'm not a grouch.
You're tough on crime.
I'm tough. Sometimes tough, but I'm actually, I'm much softer than I think people think I am.
Get that. Who has kept you grounded through the highs and the lows?
My kiddos. So my daughter and my two nieces, Peyton, Mia, and Victoria, who I love very much.
What keeps you, or what gives you hope about Suffolk County?
Oh, the people. The people of every single one of the 21 neighborhoods in Boston and Chelsea, Winthrop, and Revere, and the resilience of our people, right? And that's why I'm running again.
And for the very last one, which is a crowd favorite, why should voters give you another chance? And we'll end it there.
I will say I would like to earn their vote.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they listen to icons like Sean Ellis, and I want to thank you, sir, for showing up
Sean
today.
Ellis, yeah.
And I want to, as I have before, apologize on behalf of the office I used to lead for the way you were treated. You and your family are taxpayers. You deserve, whether you're a defendant, a victim, a witness, a juror, or just a resident of Suffolk County, you deserve to be treated with dignity and respect, and you weren't. I look at your grace and I try every day. We're still working on that to be as decent, as great and grateful as you are. But it is my honor to sit beside you, and I'm looking forward to continuing the work with you.
Absolutely. And then we started off, but we were ended the same way. How are you feeling? How are you doing? Just on a personal note, how are you doing?
I'm invigorated. I'm invigorated and I'm excited about this journey because irrespective of outcome, and let me be clear, I don't do things unless I believe I can win. But the people of Suffolk County are going to be better because there is a contested race. You're going to see more of the incumbent. It always happens, right? Miraculously, when people challenge you, you're double dutching and out eating, Church's chicken and in Roxbury and okay. Welcome back. I love churches. Don't say churches.
I would love churches.
Girl,
churches.
It
used to be right here.
John, is churches better than Popeyes?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Can we end on that?
Yes.
So whatever. But all jokes aside, you see people out.
Yeah.
And you see people answering questions, and you see people. Look at with Josh Kraft and Mayor Wu. Mayor Wu was answering questions that certain people in the Black community think she wasn't before as a result of being challenged. And the city of Boston is better for that.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, I hope to earn the vote of the people of Suffolk County. I'm going to work to earn that vote. But irrespective of the outcome on September 1st, Suffolk County will be better because people are running for office and challenging an incumbent.
Clock it. And with that said, Rachel, thank you so much. Sia said we do need a fighter right now, really bad. I'm excited to be able to vote for Rollins for DA. Hayden's performance has been troubling to me. And there's a lot of comments in there, but that was one that just came in. So Rachel, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with our audience and talk to us and just to be here.
And to bring this celebrity.
And to bring the celebrity. Exclusive.
And come back and let us know how you're doing after the primary and all of that.
Hopefully
we want to know.
Be crip walking.
Crip walking.
I love a good crip walk.
And with that said, people, we're going to end the show on this note. 2 meet us down at Lawn on D. I'll be doing the FIFA fan festival, Ghana versus England today. So make sure you guys get down there.
What
We're
time
gonna
is that?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock is the game. So come on down. There's gonna be a lot of people there. It is free. You can register. I posted it all over.
Yeah.
So go get your tickets and
it's
come on down.
sponsored by
Beckma.
Yes.
Ooh, we love Beckma.
Yes, we love Beckma.
Black economics.
This is a black watch party. Come on down.
So we'll see you guys later on today. We'll meet you back here on tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday we'll be here all week. So join us.
Oh yeah.
With that said, we'll see you later. Saucy and Friends in the morning. Spark FM Online.
You're listening to Saucy and Friends in the morning with Miss Hot Sauce.
Log on to SparkFMOnline.com. The all-new Spark FM.